The bubonic plague, better known as the Black Death, nearly wiped out one-third of the European population back in the 14th century. This disease is primarily transmitted by small animal fleas. But why are we talking about it now when we already have COVID-19 to deal with? Well, it turns out that COVID-19 is not the only disease we should be worried about currently. A herdsman in Inner Mongolia has been diagnosed with the bubonic plague on July 6th after consuming a squirrel. The City Health Commission issued a warning urging residents to stop killing, feeding, or exporting livestock that may possibly carry the disease. They have implemented some preventive measures which all will be undertaken for the entire year of 2020. This disease has earned its name as the Black Death. The Yersinia pestis bacteria, which is far more deadlier than SARS coronavirus 2, is responsible for also causing septicemic plague and the pneumonic plague. The symptoms, which include fever, vomiting, bleeding, organ failure, and open sores, can take up to 7 days to show up. On top of it, it is an airborne disease, which makes the infection rate even higher, the death rate already being at 10%. But what caused its origin in the first place? One of the first cases was said to be witnessed in October 1347, when 12 ships from the Black Sea docked at the Sicilian port of Messina, Italy. People gathered around the ships to see that most of the sailors were dead with black boils on their hands. The ones left alive were severely ill. 5 years later, post 25 million deaths, the bubonic plague was still not under control. Dead bodies were thrown in pits until they are full. Doctors were refusing to treat patients and priests were denying the last rites. Shops were closed and the normal life had come to a halt. Lack of knowledge regarding its cause and mode of transmission had led to a huge spread. They finally started isolating the sailors for 40 days at the port, which is known as the modern-day quarantine. The first official case in India was reported back in September 1896. The origin was traced back to Yunnan, China. Like Europe, it came to the British India through the trading ships. But the British wanted the trade flowing and hence they did nothing to curb it. It quickly spread to many Indian cities, taking around 12 million lives. The plague came back to haunt again in 1994, where India reported 700 cases and 60 deaths. Due to the lack of lab equipment, there was a lot of speculation whether it was bubonic plague or not. But later, WHO confirmed the presence of Yersinia pestis. Due to the lack of medication, patients fled the hospitals and even cities. It caused a lot of panic and fear among the people. Hardest hit was taken by the city Surat in Gujarat. But now that we have access to the top technology, the disease can be diagnosed by checking blood samples for the presence of bacteria. The treatment is done using antibiotics and the severe cases are given oxygen and respiratory support. Patients are kept in isolation to avoid further transmission. The plague may not turn out to be as deadly as it was in the 14th century, but it is 2020 and no one knows how it may surprise us.